When I was a child, I was already very interested in development cooperation. I was 11 when my presentation in class was about Kenya. And I listened with fascination to the white pastor that came to our school every year to tell about the mission school that he was running in Suriname. When he was showing these pictures of poor children, I could not wait to get my pocket money and donate to those poor children. But when I was a teenager, I started wondering, how is it possible that this pastor came to our school year after year, showing pictures of poor children? What happened to my pocket money? What difference did it make? And I saw the same pattern in development cooperation in general. For over 50 years, we have been giving money and products to poor people and poor children in developing countries. And still, there are charities showing pictures of poor people and asking us for money for schools and hospitals and food. I wanted to understand this, so I started to read about the subject. And then I drew a conclusion that was not only surprising, but even shocking to me. Because what I discovered was a vicious cycle. And this vicious cycle works as follows. A lot of the products we buy come from developing countries. And for these products, we often pay a very low price to the producers of these products. With this money, they cannot live a decent life. They cannot take care of their health. They cannot educate themselves or their children. And this is where the charities come in, with their hospitals and their schools. Well, is that not very inefficient? Would it not be far more logical if we would pay a good price to the makers of our products so that they can lead a decent life? And this totally changed my way of looking at development cooperation, where at first I thought, like so many other people, we need to assist those people in Africa and Asia and Latin America to change. I discovered it's not them who need to change. It's us, because we are living at the cost of others. And for what? Most of the time it's not even basic needs, but rather luxury products. Take, for example, chocolate. We all like chocolate. So we also like it if it's not too expensive, so we can buy it like every week. But on the other side of the world, there are cocoa farmers working on plantations for very low wages, and child slavery is a serious problem in many West African countries. And I can assure you that all of these cocoa farmers will never ever eat a bar of chocolate in their whole life. So think about it when you take your next Easter egg. Shopping is high on the list of the things people like to do in their free time. And of course, it's more fun if you can buy something new every week. So cheap fashion is popular. But in Asia, there are girls and young women working 12 hours per day, 6 days per week, for 65 euros per month. Well, also in Asia, 65 euros per month is not enough to live a decent life. So I decided I did no longer want to contribute to this vicious cycle. And I'm doing this by spending my money in a responsible way. Because after all, money makes the world go round. And by spending our money, we decide which companies grow big. And it's not an easy process. It's not like companies put on their products or on their websites, hey, our products are made by people who are exploited. Even worse, these companies sometimes try to mislead you by putting on their websites the nice projects they are doing in developing countries. But that is not what we want. We want them to pay a good price for the products that we are buying. So about 25 years ago, I started with buying coffee, the good coffee. It was the time that the Max Havelaar label, the fair trade label, was just developed. And later on, it expanded to tea, coffee, honey, rice, chocolate, many products. And it makes your decision easy. Because there's a logo and it's widely available. You can buy it in the regular supermarkets. But fashion presents a major challenge. Why is it so difficult to make the right choice when buying a piece of fashion? For one, I know, and we all know, shopping is quite an impulsive action. You walk through this shopping street, you see this nice dress in the window, and there's a sign next to it, it's sales, and before you know it, this dress is in your shopping bag. And also, there's no label for fashion like there is for food. So you will have to find another way to find out whether the pieces of clothing are made for a good price. The way to do this is internet research. I started by looking at the websites of my favorite brands to see what information they give about how the products are made. And when there's nothing, or just policies and wishes, you know it's not really important to them. What I need to read is, where are the factories where this fashion is made? What do they do to guarantee that the makers get a good price? How do they guarantee this? And is there independent control? Well, almost all of my favorite brands did not have this information. So I decided to give them a second chance. I sent them an email and asked them to explain. There was no reply. So I had to gather the strength not to enter my favorite shops anymore in the shopping streets. That was not easy. Fortunately, I'm helped by organizations and initiatives that assist fashion companies to produce clothing in a socially and environmentally responsible way. Organizations like the Fair Wear Foundation and Made By. So if fashion companies are a member of these organizations and are mentioned on their websites, that is a good indication. Also, there are research institutes, like the Clean Clothes Campaign, like Rank a Brand. They score fashion companies, and the higher the score is of a fashion brand, the better the clothing is produced. So you're safer to buy those. And finally, since around 5 years, there are shops and web shops that only sell fair fashion. Well, these shops are like heavens to me, because they do the research for me. I don't have to do that anymore. And I can buy anything I want in those shops. And I can see some of you thinking, but fair fashion, is that not too expensive? Yeah, if you compare it to cheap and fast fashion, yes, it's expensive. But if you compare it to higher-end brands that are also very popular in the shopping streets, they are not expensive. But is it fashionable, fair fashion? Yeah, as you can see here, the time of the grey-colored hemp clothing is over. If I'm the only one who spends her money in the right way, it will take ages to change the world. So I decided to share my findings. I am doing that by showing in a positive way how nice fair products can be and how adventurous it can be to find them. I also created a database and a site and an app with all the shops that I encountered on my quest for a more sustainable shopping life. The way we spend our money can make the world a better place or a worse one. The choice is up to us. Thank you.